Bo, Kyler Murray's talking. I'm liking what he's saying.
Absolutely. That's because the Arizona Cardinals offense is ready to soar come week one in Buffalo. We got some thoughts, some comments from your franchise quarterback and fourth overall pick, Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't miss it. It's right now. PHNX Cardinals.
Hey, welcome in live from Studio K, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe, leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why. It's never ordinary with our friends at Bet365. This is not an ordinary week. It's week one kickoff. Let's go. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Brack in Studio K. Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. What a banner show we have for you on this football Wednesday. We're going to be talking some betting lines. We're going to be talking about some marquee players. And why not kick off, Brack, with the franchise 1K1, who spoke to the media for the first time during this regular season.
That's right. We get to hear from the franchise quarterback and had some thoughts as far as the regular season quickly approaching and how they're locked in coming off a preseason where we didn't see a snap from K1 or a member of this offense that's expected to play a big role outside of the 3 that Marvin Harrison Jr. got in the preseason opener. And it felt like forever ago. But we're going to hear from MHJ, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon, and a franchise left tackle, Paris Johnson Jr. So we are not short on content today. It's just really getting you started for this big old 2024 season, Johnny.
Not short on content, not short on star power. And we talked about it ad nauseum. I feel like for like the last 6 weeks, this team has playoff aspirations, but the defense, right? But the pass rush. Now Darius Robinson's going to miss time. And then you look at the landscape of the NFL. And you look at the players the Cardinals trotted out to the media today. These are the players that inevitably, with all due respect to everybody else, have the best opportunity to carry this franchise to January football, meaningful games. The franchise quarterback, the franchise receiver, the franchise left tackle, right? I mean, I don't want to downplay defense. I love defense. We have a defensive head coach. It's important. It's very important. You got to win in all 3 phases. But in the year of our football Lord 2024, in the NFL that we live and breathe right now, you have to be viable offensively. We've got a piece coming out with our guy, Craig Morgan. It's going to go on gophnx.com, and I will double down on this mindset. The Arizona Cardinals are leaning into offense with Kyler Murray and MHJ and Trey McBride, etc. I would much rather have that be a reality this year than to be a Pittsburgh or a New England or a Carolina where, we got all these resources defensively, but you can't score points. The Cardinals are going to score points, and they're going to do so behind number 1, and it begins this Sunday.
Yeah, and do it hopefully at a high rate. And it feels like where Gannon was in 2021 with his Eagles team is like, hey, you guys focus on the offense. You guys lock in your franchise quarterback. You get and you find an identity offensively. Let me, and now in this case, Nick Rawlis, worry about the defense. We're going to get these guys up to speed, but really what we need to do to compete is putting up points, outscoring the opposing team. And if you guys can figure out a way to, create a strength and identity on that side of the football, we got you covered. We'll figure it out on the defensive side. And I think if they can show strides, if they can show potential, if they can put together, throughout this 17-game slate, some really impressive performances offensively, it's going to show that this team in year 2 of a rebuild are ahead of schedule. That's how things go here. It's like, okay, are you on par with where people expect you to be in year 2 of a real rebuild? Or are you going to have that edge because you've got a franchise caliber quarterback that's not often the case in these rebuilds? And can he do what he did in his 8-game sample size last season, where he basically led this team to a 500 record? They're one of 2 Matt Prater kicks away from them going 4-4 with an undermanned roster. And that roster's improved throughout this offseason. So, and Kyler Murray's gotten more and more comfortable in this offense.
Absolutely. And again, like, if you just take his statistics from a year ago, and we've been harping on this the entire offseason, 10 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. If you just push that out over 17 weeks, put aside the rushing statistics, which I would imagine are going to very much return to form this year. I think a lot of us can pencil in Kyler Murray. If he plays all year, and knock on wood, that's the biggest cause for concern. Can he play 17 games? It's going to have 5 to 7 rushing touchdowns, I would think, minimum. And then you just project out the passing numbers, right? 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Well, if he plays 17 games, boom, there's 34 passing touchdowns. It's a Cardinal franchise record. You talk about passing yards. Should have his first 4,000-yard passing season of his career. All of that jumbled together equals a playoff team. Like, that's not a question mark. You have a quarterback in football, in the NFL, in 2024, throw over 30 touchdowns, have over 4,000 yards passing, has a mobility element, and is not consistently turning the ball over 25 times, in a single season. You're going to be a playoff team. That's the easiest way to quantify it. Like, we're not sitting here over the course of the offseason and demanding things that I believe are not realistic. Daniel Jones with a career best, 6 touchdowns 2 years ago, and the Giants go to the playoffs. We're not moving heaven and earth here. They're doing that in Carolina, right? They're doing that in New England. This podcast was attempting to do that this time last year. All you can say is take Kyler Murray's career averages and project that out over a full NFL season. That's a playoff caliber offense. Even in this division, even in the NFC West, with Sean McVay and Pete Carroll and a Seattle team that has some talent, that should still be a recipe for this team to be viable in December and January. And then we got to let the chips fall where they may. We're going to see if Jonathan Gannon, which we believe can be a big-time head coach, Kyler Murray keeping himself healthy, competing against the best. But I mean, we are locked in as long as number one's in the lineup for a very entertaining and viable year of Cardinal football, which we have not had in some time.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out. Hello to the chat out there. Love each and every one of you. Low Tone Capone. How about Ozzy221? He's on fire. David Broderick, Stephen, Alberto, Shaft, Classy, Nasty, Merv, Jason. All happy to see every single one of you here in the chat. Let's hear from the Cardinals head coach, Jonathan Gannon. High expectations. Excited to see K1 finally get out there come Sunday.
I'm excited to see him play. He's done a lot this offseason to improve his game, and thought he had a really good camp, but he knows it's, Sundays is where you get measured, so he's ready to go.
True story. I mean, Kyler Murray, we believe, has put himself in a position to silence his critics, the haters. Let's just call them what they are. They're big-time haters. But it doesn't, if Kyler Murray goes out and lays an egg against Buffalo, we're not going to be able to come on this podcast Monday and spin it any other way. A pick in the end zone, multiple turnovers, uninspired performance. We're not projecting that. I'm not predicting that, but that's the reality of the situation. That's why football is king. It's a production business. I love Major League Baseball. I love the NBA, right? But there are a lot of hollow statistics that happen that aren't associated with winning in those respected sports. I don't care what Kyler Murray's line is on Sunday, as long as we come out with a big, fat W. That's what matters. No one can tell me what Patrick Mahomes' stats were last year. A lot of people thought, maybe a little bit underwhelming. He won the Super Bowl. That's what counts. Winning as a quarterback, in my opinion, is very much a stat. And Kyler Murray goes out and performs well on Sunday. Guess what? Every article, every headline nationally on Monday through the following Sunday is going to be Kyler Murray has flipped the script. He's a leader suddenly overnight, when in all actuality, we know that that's not true. But it's a production business. He's got to go out and compete, and he's got to beat Josh Allen head to head.
Yeah, and that's look, it's when you're looking at Josh Allen, he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks in this league, and one of the steadier performers year over year. But one of the big knocks is always consistently, whether it's deserved or not. In our case, we don't feel like it's deserved. It's a narrative that's gotten out of hand. Is that Kyler Murray's focus, his main focus, isn't on football. It's not on winning football games. It's not doing what it takes to win. And I think that couldn't be further from the truth. And the Cardinals franchise quarterback basically gives us some insight as far as where his mind's been all off season long.
I mean, it's first game of the year, but no, to me, I mean, football's been on my mind this whole offseason. Obviously, it always is, but, last year being hurt, having to rehab and stuff like that, I think, for me, trying not to get too far away from the game mentally. Obviously, you're away from the building and stuff like that. You're away from the guys, but I've had this on my mind for a long time, not just this game, but what I want to accomplish, what I want this team to accomplish this season. So it doesn't feel brand new in a sense, in that sense.
It's a bad man right there. Like, again, outside of, I don't know what the rationale is to consistently wear beanies here for both him and Lindsay, the host of PHNX Suns here. Like, I can't wrap my head around that. It's triple digits outside. Kyler Murray, Lindsay, you do you. But outside of that, I can get on board with everything he said because it's been true this entire offseason. There has not been a week or a segmented period, a month that goes by that we haven't seen Kyler Murray either working his ass off the field, being with his teammates, supporting his coach, supporting his team, supporting the culture, the brand here for the Arizona Cardinals, football in general. I mean, they are in a position now to reap the benefits of this because this guy has been locked in since the minute the last season ended. And we talked about it at the time. It's a damn shame that he only got to play 8 games last year because even though that team was 3-5, everybody saw it. The Philadelphia game, the Seahawks game in the finale, the Atlanta game, his momentum was slowly but surely coming back. And the Cardinals, had they played a full season, I'm not sure Kyler Murray, he might have gotten that Cardinal team to 500 last year.
I mean, we'll never know. And I think that's why people are excited about the 2024 season. But I think what the best thing this coaching staff has done is getting all these players on the same page. And they talk about keeping the main thing, right? And, I think that the previous regime did a terrible job at that, right? And they were always like, okay, this is work. And then you can, once you get your work done, you can go on your free time, figure out what you want to do. Where, Kyler Murray has been locked in because he's a franchise quarterback. And, it's not crazy to say, hey, everything that you should eat, sleep, dream about is football. And that's what I think a good culture that Jonathan Gannon has put in place, where before, like, if you just look at just how their daily schedule is set up throughout training camp, like we remember like Camp Country Club, it was like, get in, do your work. And then the rest of the day you can focus on whatever you want to focus on, where these days are structured to where these guys are thinking about the game. They're thinking about ball all the time. And they found guys that want to do that. Mm-hmm. Kyler Murray, the misconception, the narrative was that he didn't. He had other things on his mind, whether it's video games or whatever. It's not true. Kyler Murray has been thinking about, picking up where he left off, wanting to continue what, momentum, regardless of whether you believe it's true or not, but he was trending the right way, getting more and more comfortable playing within the structure of this offense. And now with the addition of a Marvin Harrison Jr., why wouldn't you want to just get right back on the field and pick up where you left off? But, Kyler Murray going into now year 6 of his NFL career, 27 years old. And, we're talking, he's starting year 1 of that mega $1 million extension, $230.5 million. And it's kind of odd to say that we're already there, but this is a guy that has outlasted most of the quarterbacks that have been in this organization since its inception. And, what's Kyler Murray looking forward to down the line here? Here are his kind of goals.
That's the goal. I would love to end my career here with multiple Super Bowls and, MVPs and all the accolades and stuff like that. I think ability-wise, for sure, I've never questioned my ability or anything like that. Obviously, you never know when this game will be taken away from you and anything like that. But I'm just, grateful and just taking it one day at a time, focused on this week, and we had a good day today. So,
I mean, I think history is going to look favorably upon Kyler Murray based on just the statistics alone because of what came before him. And that's why, like, you have to grade him on a curve. I'm sorry. This is not Jordan Love, who gets gifted, championships, franchise and, a Super Bowl head coach or Super Bowl caliber head coach and Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers from Brett Favre. This is a different franchise. We all know what kind of franchise we're dealing with, that we've invested in, that we love here with our precious Arizona Cardinals. Unless your name is Jim Hart, Neil Lomax, Jake Plummer, and then, obviously Kurt Warner and Carson Palmer for about a combined 4 to 5 year period.
Yeah.
It has been a very dismal franchise when it comes to quarterback play. And not only can he play it at the highest level, the modernization of the quarterback position in Arizona, they had no mobility ever of relevance at the position before K1. And then they just fall into maybe the most mobile quarterback outside of Cam Newton and, Jalen Hurts of our lifetime. No, we have not seen somebody do what he does at his stature in the history of this franchise. And so that's why I always, do my best to try to caution people of, you want to pivot off this guy. Number one, what's your solution? And number two, you better be careful what you wish for. Because again, like I'm intended on siding with a guy who inherited a mess, who cleaned it up the best he could, and inherited a coaching staff and a general manager that were ill-equipped long-term to set him up for success. And he overcame that and got this team to the postseason. Like that happened in a loaded division. You have to grade on a curve with the franchise and the division you're dealing with. This is not CJ Stroud, with all due respect, that has DeMeco Ryans, who I think is very viable in the AFC South. This is not Brock Purdy, who gets gifted a brilliant head coach and a loaded roster. This is a guy that went from Oklahoma winner, high school winner, to the Arizona Cardinals, where they said, hey, can you save our franchise? Can you put the Superman cape on each and every football Sunday? We have no idea what we're doing. Our coach has never coached in the NFL. Our general manager can't hit on a draft pick to save his life. Can you clean up everybody else's mess for us, K1? And so like everybody's like, yeah, we got to get a new quarterback in here. No. How about double down on the guy that was taken top 10 in 2 professional drafts? Maybe try to make that work at a salary now, as you mentioned, Bo, that looks increasingly team-friendly each passing offseason.
It's going to be on the higher end this season, and it goes down a little bit next season, and they're going to have even more money to spend, depending on what the decision makers want to do, and money awesome for it. And you hope that they aggressively, especially pursue somebody on the defensive side of the football and supplement these, being a draft and develop organization. And you'll start to see the kind of the fruits of that labor, right? Like now that you've got 2 draft classes in the facility working out and kind of figuring out what the culture, the process is all about. But there was just too much of it where it's like, hey, this guy's got the skill set to put us on his back and carry us and make, a head coach look like a good head coach and a general manager look like a good general manager when they weren't necessarily that. And they did nothing to help kind of raise his game at all. Outside of DeAndre Hopkins and, moves here and there. But like, as far as just the infrastructure now that's being created from a play calling and from a playmaker standpoint, it's really going to be conducive to Kyler Murray really having the ability and the tools to take his game to the next level, where we've seen he's got like 26 passing touchdowns, and the one year he had like 11 rushing touchdowns. And like, no, we're going to put him in a position where he's not going to have, his body's not going to have to take a toll. Not going to have to on, 2, 3 or 4 downs, just go out there and make a play. He can hand the ball off twice to James Conner, and James Conner can put him in second and third manageable. And then all he's got to do is find an open Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, Michael Wilson to move the change, extend drives, keep his defense on the sidelines, and then eventually put up points. And I think it's just a way better situation than he's ever been in his entire career.
Yeah, this might be naive, but with what he has shown in his brief career outside of his rookie season, playing large majority of the games and that team not being very good. They just had the first overall pick. Like when he plays, and he plays throughout, long stretches of the season, he produces. That's not arguable. That's a fact. Kyler Murray, if the Arizona Cardinals do not achieve what we hope they should achieve this year, which is a viable record, postseason contention, something will have to have happened with his health. That's my mindset. Unless he goes down with injury, I do not foresee a reality in which the Arizona Cardinals are at least not viable for postseason contention come December and January. He has shown it time and time again. He started 6-3 in 2020. He was 9-1 in 2021. Then he tore his ACL. And then last year, he was 2 missed kicks away from being 4-4 with what a lot of people thought was a tanking roster at the end of the year that could barely field the team. And he inherited statistically the worst offense in the last 20 years as a rookie. Like if he is not injured, this team will be a contender to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Again, like what more do you want as a fan? Like I know you want him to be healthy. I'm right there with you. And if he goes down, then we will have serious questions on this show about whether or not he's the answer long term. If we're sitting here in week 10 and he's not available, we're gonna have tough conversations. But if he's available for the large majority, if not all of the season, they will be viable.
Yeah. It very unlikely will look like 2022 where, he was available for the bulk of that, but, for whatever reason, the offense couldn't find its footing. I think when you look at this organization right now, and you think about the teams that were able to go from like worst to a first place in their division. And we're not saying that that's what they're going to do and they're going to overtake the San Francisco 49ers. But at the same time, like Houston had zero fanfare at this point last season.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew anything about CJ Stroud. They thought he was the second best player in the draft, which was incorrect. And, sure, like on the defensive side of the football, they've got a nice piece in Will Anderson, but like who else on that team was going to do anything? And everybody was under the radar. Even people I think that followed that team closely didn't see it coming. And when you find success in what you like, as far as through your known commodities, like can Kyler Murray in this offense get things going, it's only going to help you kind of raise the tide for the rest of this team, right? You're going to start to see, given the opportunity, players emerge to make winning plays and become winning players. Where, I think Houston, you looked and you're like CJ Stroud and it's Will Anderson Jr. and that's it. Like the cupboard's bare. But now they're looked at like they were one game away from not being in the playoffs. Like we were sitting there watching that Colts and Houston Texans game with heartbreak, right? We were sick to our stomach. We were just disgusted that they couldn't get the job done. And they sneak into the playoffs, and then they win, 2 playoff games? 1 or 2 playoff games? And then they're the trendiest team of the offseason. It's like you're that close. Things are so close, and they were already starting to look that close with a bad roster at the end of last season. And they like, I don't think there's any doubt that they improved the talent across the board outside of the edge rushing room on this roster.
The quickest way for a turnaround in the NFL is to get above average quarterback play. Tampa Bay last year was a joke, and Baker Mayfield put together his best season just by showing up every Sunday and throwing about 2 touchdown passes to 1 interception, and they won the NFC South. It's the NFC South. It's the same reason why, I don't love Atlanta. A lot of people don't, but they have Kirk Cousins. He'll keep the train on the tracks. That's a playoff team. They got some nice pieces offensively, right? It's why the Dallas Cowboys have been very viable the last 10 plus years, because they haven't been an embarrassment at the quarterback position. Look at the Cardinals' worst seasons in franchise history. What's the common denominator? They suck at QB. But now they have a guy with a proven track record when he does play to give you above average quarterback play. That cannot be discredited. Is he going to have to win some big boy games up against Brock Purdy and Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff and Jordan Love and Justin Herbert? Absolutely. But I've seen him do it before. Can he just split those games and then clean up against the hapless Patriots and what I think is going to be a middling to below average Seahawk team and Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers? Clean up against those bad franchises, split against the good QBs to the great QBs, occasionally be great on a Sunday. This is a playoff team. Like I as much as I bitch and complain and moan about the pass rush, like that's it. That's the end of the story. Let's get to the super chats here. This is just the start of the story. Damian Christian, $9.99. If Kyler, first of all, thank you for that super chat. Yeah. We appreciate you. If Kyler doesn't completely ball out, I'm taking 4,500 yards pass and rush, 30 plus TDs. Does this franchise move on from the best QB ever drafted and settle for an average QB, or restart Damon Dawg for fantasy?
So what he's asking is if he doesn't bowl out,
what he's asking,
and he's got 4,500 total yards passing and rushing plus 30 plus TDs, total touchdowns. This franchise is considered moving on from the best QB they've drafted and settle for an average QB or restart Damon Dawg for fantasy. I think he's joking there at the end, but is asking legitimately, like, if he doesn't put up these gaudy numbers and take kind of over as a franchise QB, does the team decide to look elsewhere? It's no. I mean, you're going to look at this and go week to week, and you're going to see the overall product. And if you decided, hey, he truly underperformed, then they'll have a tough discussion, and they'll start to figure out what the path forward, if there is one. But I don't necessarily think he has to hit some target goals here, some checkpoints here. But like, I think just with playing the bulk of the season and playing consistently, he'll approach those numbers.
He's never thrown for 4,000 yards, Damian. So I would say that should be the baseline. Can he get to 4,000 yards? But also, like, and Bo and I have talked about this before, as much as I feel like they dropped the ball with the pass rush group, if Kyler Murray plays above average and this team still doesn't make the playoffs, they're going to look at, hey, Kyler, we let you down defensively, or maybe we let you down with, offensive line play on any given Sunday. And we still believe you're better than large majority of quarterbacks in the NFL. You're top 10 to 12. And this is if Kyler Murray has a slightly above average year. They're not going to sell that. They'll double down on it. They'll go out and say, we're going to add pass rushers in free agency. We're going to have another draft class. We're going to continue to elevate you. What franchise in recent memory did that and are reaping the benefits? The Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions traded for Jared Goff, former first overall pick, and everybody thought he was done. Sean McVay put him out in the trash, right? First year, not very good. Second year, 9-8. They fortified that roster. They doubled down. Last year, they should have won the NFC. They blew the NFC Championship game, and they are, to many people, the most talented team in the NFC outside of San Francisco right now. Kyler Murray is more talented than Jared Goff. Kyler Murray, in my opinion, can achieve those same heights as Jared Goff. But Jared Goff had to have an infrastructure. He also had to have a head coach that believed in him. So I think that's the biggest thing is build up this roster. If Kyler Murray shows you he can still be an above average quarterback, don't pivot. I don't care what the numbers say. If he's healthy and he's playing, you do not pivot off Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Keep it going with these super chats. Thank you, everybody, for their generosity here. What is this? Diff DeLamp, $4.99. Right.
Bo, Kyler Murray is finally in a system instead of having to be the system. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. I mean, he said it himself. I think he said it, and referred to that quite a couple times today. And then last year, week 2 of him being back, he just mentioned how refreshing it is to kind of play within the structure of an offense and not have to go out there and play hero ball each and every play. And like, he wasn't trying to throw shade or anything. He was trying to be complimentary of Drew Petzing and how much belief he has in his offensive system. PR Mac, $5. It's a great question by our guy DeLamp there. PR Mac, $5. Cards lost by 6 games by 1 possession last year. So the turnaround exists.
I mean, the Giants game, the Commanders game, both Seahawk games last year, very winnable. The Houston game. Here's the problem, PR Mac. They were not competitive against the Rams and the Niners. They gotta win 1 out of those 4 opportunities this year, I think, at minimum, and take care of business against everybody else. But you're right. I mean, I wish they got to play the NFC East again. It would be a great opportunity. Instead, they play the NFC North with some viable teams. But you got to beat Caleb Williams. You got to beat Sam Darnold. You probably have to split against Jordan Love and Jared Goff. Like, it's a tough start to the year. But again, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, James Conner, they should be able to score on just about anybody in the NFL.
Yanks. Pains me to say Yanks. $4.99 honestly feels like the plan is right on time. Give Kyler everything he needs first couple of years of the regime, then attack the defense in 2025.
I agree with that. And I agree with the people. This has kind of been circulating on the Twitter streets, is like, they got to make the playoffs this year to at least get some exposure to the postseason. And I think there's some truth to that. I think outside of the Cliff debacle in LA, like let's get these young players a playoff game appearance, God forbid, two playoff game appearances. And then you could have the kind of offseason to be taken seriously, Cardinals Super Bowl contender 2025.
Yeah.
Like if you go
I don't
9
think it's, I mean, as much as I'd love to see it, like I don't think it's necessary. Like I was saying, like the Texans were a couple plays away from not make the playoffs. I don't think it takes away,
I
from
think there's a big difference between CJ
people were
starting multiple playoff games, and then this year being a
people
contender
were
in the
already
AFC.
on the CJ Stroud train. And like if Kyler has a similar performance in his own way, people are going to be like, oh, like it's going to be once again that players want to come and play on the team that Kyler plays on.
I think it would mean a lot for this team to see postseason.
No doubt about it. That I won't discount that, but I still think that there's a big time path forward, and it doesn't have to be playoffs or bust for that to happen.
I know. I just would get the sense that people would say, "Hey, time's running out. Where are the playoff appearances?"
Not me.
I know, not you, Jason. $10. Mark my words, gents. The Cardinals will win a few games they're supposed to lose this year. Keep up the great work, PHNX Cardinals crew. We appreciate Jason, the super chat on that level. We appreciate the support. I would love for that, Jason, to start this Sunday. This fan base, after I would say a fairly promising offseason, deserves a cherry on top to kick off the NFL season. And again, like winning against Buffalo doesn't mean that they're going to, win the division, but it would be a really nice, not surprise. It would be a really nice occurrence for this fan base. They certainly deserve it.
Take advantage of a team that has high expectations in their vulnerability week one. Like they've got a lot of changes to deal with. And the Cardinals and their continuity strike and really take like 6.5 point dogs. But I think that they're a dangerous team in that spot. So this is if there's going to be some teams that they're supposed to lose to, and they come out of there with a dub that nobody expected. I mean, I think that no better time than week one.
No better time for you guys to like this video. Let's get this puppy to 300 likes here on a football Wednesday. We're going to hear from the aforementioned Marvin Harrison Jr. in just a moment. But first, let's hear from our friends. Let's talk about our friends at Bet365. Never ordinary. We're going to be previewing some what we feel like marquee lines ahead of this Sunday, not just the Cardinals, but across the NFL. And you can dabble with our friends at Bet365 right now across the NFL using the bonus code PHNX365 at sign up. 90 million users worldwide, 780,000 events each year, NBA, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, and more. Plus, get hooked up right now. Bet and get offer. Place $5 or more in your newly created account. $200 in bonus bets. No questions asked. Early payouts. First bet safety net up to $1,000. But you got to do it with our friends at Bet365. Download it today. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Got to be located here in Arizona, 21 years and older. If you or someone has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov for more information.
What are you doing for the first football Sunday of the NFL season? Well, if it's anything but joining us at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass, it's the wrong plan. You got to join us because each and every day we're there, or each every post game, we're having giveaways from Pit Boss barbecues. Plus, look, I mean, Gila River Resorts and Casinos, they just do it better. No one does it better than them. Visit their 4 locations, Wild Horse Pass us this Sunday. How about Vicuiva, Santan Mountain? Experience the best the Valley has to absolutely offer. It's going to be elite. Achieve legendary status. You'll be blown away as soon as you walk in the door. You sniff that fresh air. You get a look at those craps tables, the blackjack tables, the sports book, and of course our location where we're going to be watching the game. Cards take on the Bills Sunday morning at 10. We're hosting events all year, including the Cards and Sons watch parties. More, stay tuned for the info and come hang out with us this Sunday at, of course, our Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. Visit playGila.com for more details.
When we are watching the game, are you guys ready to go out on a limb? Damon, I'll start with you. Marvin Harrison Jr., does he find the end zone this Sunday?
Yes. Hold the line.
Short and sweet. Like I think there's a better chance he scores than he doesn't. How about that?
Wow.
I think I would be shocked if he did not cook this fledgling Buffalo secondary because I think he's been held without much exposure. I think the Cardinals have done that purposely. If they don't feed into that narrative, I'm going to be upset at Wild Horse Pass, Gila River on Sunday. But I think he scores at least once against Buffalo.
He gets at least one red zone target, and he comes down with it.
Man, that's just stuff dreams are made of.
Storybook.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the dub too. Yeah.
It's like the meme where it's like he's probably thinking about other women. It's like, no, I'm just thinking about Marvin Harrison Jr. in the red zone. Big tutty. Just mossing somebody in the paint.
I don't even know if it has to be in the red zone like it. Are we sitting here saying it's not possible for K1 to air one out, jump ball, deep ball to Marvin?
That, Johnny. I mean, making us look like fools over here, but obviously you're in scoring position anywhere on the field with them. But, big body receiver like that, I like my chances in close.
I just feel like what tape are the Buffalo Bills watching of Marvin Harrison?
What are you talking about? 2 years at Ohio State.
No. But that again, you're watching Ryan Day's tape of Marvin Harrison Jr. or are you going to watch an NFL offense with Kyler Murray? Like, I don't think you can put a price on like not having any kind of tape to watch outside of some like position drills that have leaked online. Like there's something to be said about that where it's just
what idiots put that out there? Who's putting in just an egregious amount of Marv film out there? That
some fanboys here on a little podcast that could.
Just us and our pom-poms. You can hear them in the background.
I don't think that's nothing. I think Buffalo has some solid safety play kind of, and their off-ball linebackers.
No, they don't. You take that back. They've got Taylor Rapp, who used to play for the Rams.
He's
and
good.
Then DeMar Hamlin is starting at safety for them.
I was trying to be nice of D-Ham, but yeah,
Cole Bishop could be decent. They drafted him, I believe, in the second round out of Utah this year.
Okay.
I think, that's a guy I look at that if he earns some more playing time.
If he gets matched up on 18, though.
Well, the point I was trying to make is I think they're probably have better opportunities against Trey McBride. Whereas I think Marvin Harrison Jr. against their corners, I think is a real mismatch. That's all I was saying. I think there's a bigger mismatch to be exposed at corner with MHJ than I do necessarily.
There are, for sure. But then I think about what the tandem of Kyler Murray and Trey McBride did against some decent safeties.
That's fair.
Like that combination, it's going to feed families. As far like I was looking at Bet365 and some of the Trey McBride. Just, I think he was like around 45 receiving yards, 45 and a half. Like,
yeah,
I'll hammer that over. Don't you?
There's only so much meat on the bone to go around though. And I really have not been able to get a full grasp of like, if I look at the box score on Sunday night, if I didn't see the game, like I don't know if I could project what the box score is going to look like other than Marv is going to eat. We're predicting a breakout year for Michael Wilson.
Should we have people like in the chat? Do we do it now? Do we project Marv's stat line?
Yes. Let's project Marvin Harrison Jr. stat line ahead of Cardinals at Buffalo Bills. Let's go around the room here.
All right.
Damon, I'll start with you. Let's get a projection here of MHJ.
Mr. Hold the line.
I'll go 6 catches,
Stole my
90 yards, 1 touchdown.
Okay. Everybody drop predictions in the chat.
What's his long?
32.
Okay. Bo, you're up.
That scratches the itch, doesn't it? Doesn't that stat line you'd come away and you're like, yeah. That was worth it.
I would take first of all, I would take that.
Mm-hmm.
I would take that from Dame.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna go an efficient day, catches 5 of 6 targets for 86 yards in a tutty. Because why
we're
not?
all going
we're having
touchdown.
fun.
Yeah, we're all going touchdown. Everybody in the chat's going TDs. Some people are going multiple. I think I'm on. I think I might be a big time sicko and go multiple touchdowns. I think I might be the grossest of the gross. No, I'll go 115.
Okay.
On 7 catches and 2 touchdowns. I'll go big.
You're going over the century mark. You're going fine in the end zone.
Charles and I just had almost the exact same prediction. He's going 8 for 115.
Yeah, let's read these off. So films and animation, 6 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown, close to what I had. Han shot first, 5 for 89 in a tutty. Arizona Animal, 2 touchdowns, 164 yards with a long of 54. That's the Electric Factory. Danny saying 125, 2 tutties, 10 targets. Charles HJ, 8 catches, 115 and a touchdown. Ozzy is he's going nuts here. 230 and 3 touchdowns. I mean, those are T-Mac versus New Mexico. That's right around that. Angel saying 8 catches, 110, 2 touchdowns. Monty Austin Ford's Burners saying just 1,000 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then just goes a lot of zeros and touchdowns.
Do we put any stock in week 1 college football last year against Indiana? 2 catches for 18 yards last year. But then he proceeded to have, if I'm counting this correctly, 7 of his next games, he went over 100 yards in multiple games with multiple touchdowns. So started off slow against Indiana last year. I couldn't tell you what the final score of that game was, but I'm guessing for a 3-9 Indiana Hoosiers team, it did not end well for them.
Christian Benford, Rasul Douglas, and then Teron Johnson in all pro nickel corner.
Here's what I'll say. Prayers up to those guys. Prayers up. I think highly of Sean McDermott, but it's a whoop ass kind of Sunday for Marvin because again, I think the Maserati's been in the garage all off season. They've hit it. They've had the cover over it purposely. I think we're going to see target after target for MHJ.
I disagree with Johnny that the Bills' safeties are in better shape than their corners. I think Christian Benford, Rasul Douglas are pretty decent players. Teron Johnson's a good slot corner. Their safeties are in rough shape.
Yeah.
And honestly, it sounds a little bit like Johnny's not a McBridesmaid. I don't know if you were getting that vibe, but I was kind of getting that vibe.
He's a big fraud across the board for the most part. Like he's trying to make up for
what is this show turning into?
Marvin agenda now, and then like today he's in my mentions, or he's in the PHNX _Cardinals mentions, talking about how he's been wide awake on Michael Wilson all offseason long. Meanwhile, I've got him on roster on all of my fantasy teams. Johnny doesn't have him on one. He's wide awake.
You sniped him right before I was about to take him. And again, like
it's on me.
An argument could be made I should have taken him sooner. But, you know, I got Trey McBride. I didn't want to go too heavy with Cardinal players. I didn't want to be too much of a fanboy.
He did take – he is a McBride's made in our work league.
I am. He was like one of the first – I think Travis Kelce went, and then I took McBride. So let's talk more about MHJ. And it was nice to see him chatting with the folks in the media. Here's what I'll say about Marv. Marv has proven time after time he is going to give you the most boilerplate soundbite, and I love that about him. Just like his dad, he's not here to make headlines off the field. That's what I'm about. This is not Chad Ochocinco. This is not Terrell Owens. Like the Larry Fitzgerald comps are a little bit crazy because I think they do very different things. But Larry Fitzgerald off the field, in terms of like his responses, which are very concise and complimenting. I go back to that. Everybody wanted him to rip Kyle McCord in that Hard Knocks video with the Giants. And he was just super positive.
Yeah.
We're never going to get just a cutthroat response from Marvin ever. I've come to that conclusion before he's ever played in an NFL game.
And he's going to speak softly and carry a big stick out there on the field.
And I'm fine with it.
Right. And it's just like Larry Fitzgerald. He's just not going to give you bulletin board material. He's going to lock in, and you can push him and you can say, hey, player A said this about you, and he was trash talking you and said this and that. And he's not going to feed into it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And we're getting some more insight onto who Marv is. Like Kyler said, he was super quiet to begin with, and then you're starting to see his personality. But I think from he's such a nice, respectable young man. Like when you go out there, and he's standing at his locker, we just talked to Kyler and we go to the locker room, and he's just, everybody starts to get around him for his media availability. He's like, hey, what's up, guys? And very, willing to answer any questions we have and took as much time as we needed. But at the same time, like, he's not going to give up any info that's going to, one, provide bulletin board material, or B, compromise what they want to do and what they want to accomplish as a team. And yeah, you got to like that.
I love people in the chat saying media training since he was a kid. There's probably some truth to that. Like, his dad is a no nonsense guy. And it was attributed to how he played football. I can never remember Marvin Harrison Sr. talking off the field ever. Right. He was one of the most quiet, stoic players in NFL history. And Marv himself, he has a personality. I'm not saying he doesn't, but like, he feels like an enigma ahead of Sunday. Because again, I don't want to go too far off topic. We went the entire offseason highlighting a player that didn't work out, didn't speak at the combine. We didn't physically see him until he came to Arizona. Didn't work out at his pro day. You can't buy his jersey now. And then again, I've made this point before. Outside of some practice highlights, he's not playing in the preseason, right? It's literally a guy that has done everything right that you asked for. He's just going to roll out on Sunday, and what I feel like a lot of people is going to dominate from day one. Like I don't think we're going to be talking about, respectfully, a rookie wall with the way he's prepared from January to now. He's been preparing for this NFL season since the minute Ohio State wrapped. What was it, last November, December? Didn't play in the bowl game. So it's business as usual for him, and he's going to take care of business on Sunday. Like if the Cardinals win Sunday, he's going to be a big reason why. You can't tell me otherwise.
Yeah. We've got like one clip from Marvin Harrison Jr. And it's not that he did, like I said, he gave us all the time that we needed. It's just, to Johnny's point, there just wasn't anything like that you didn't either already know or expect, or from, a first year player going into week one. But we did want to get some insight as far as how his chemistry or his rapport is going with his quarterback, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, definitely. I think we built a great chemistry throughout the summer, kind of the off-season workouts and then training camp and then kind of game planning already for Buffalo. So I'm super excited to see what we do. And like I said, I'm going to do my best to, help him perform to the best of his abilities.
If you have been following the Cardinals for a long time, you kind of you'll realize, and they haven't made any updates to their locker rooms. And
they haven't, Bo? Why didn't you ask those questions? Those tough questions.
They didn't do that. But you'll notice that his locker is Larry Fitzgerald's old locker. So he takes his spot in the locker room, and there's been a couple players in between. Like that was Hollywood Brown's locker for the last 2 seasons.
Okay, I think less of it now. I was going to say that's special. I think less of it. I wish you wouldn't have said that last part.
Yeah.
So, was it also Andy Isabella's locker too? Who else do we want to give that locker?
Don't do that. Don't put
passing around to everybody. Dan Chizzy ain't going to get that locker here pretty soon. Like, are we just giving it to everybody available in the receiving room? Let's just make a point to say it was Larry's, and then it was left vacant until Marvin was drafted. Now it's become Marv's. That's the new thing that we're going to say.
That's good. That's a good way to do it.
Your memory of Hollywood Brown taking over Larry Fitzgerald's locker.
Yeah.
So, I'm okay with it. It's a blood oath this podcast is going to take.
I can appreciate that. Appreciate that. We talked to Paris Johnson Jr. as well. I made sure to ask him, like, does he expect to bring back their old collegiate celebration where Paris would pick up Marvin Harrison Jr. and lift him in the air, kind of like
that's special,
Dirty Dancing style? He said, absolutely, that's going down.
Oh my God. This Sunday is going to be so effing electric. when we see Paris Johnson Jr. lift up Marvin Harrison Jr. in celebratory victory in the end zone. I haven't even thought about that. Yeah. Now, that's connecting the dots. If the Cardinals can just be Ohio State at the NFL level, I think we'd all be very happy about that.
Well, Paris feels that way about the offense. We talked to Paris today. This is his thoughts as far as this offense that we haven't really gotten much to see outside of just training camp and joint practices.
I think will be super explosive. You know what I mean? I think with the guys that we have back and with the new additions on our offense, I think our offense will be able to put up a lot of points.
So we talked about B.J. Ojulari in all seriousness having like a big role this season and a lot on him. And unfortunately, he's out for the year. Paris has got a lot on his shoulders this year. Like I don't know if we talk about it enough because he was a top 10 pick last year and he had such a great rookie year. I'm certainly not taking him for granted, but at the same time, it's like, this is a guy who's played one NFL season. He's your left tackle. captains were announced. He wasn't a captain. I feel like maybe that's a mistake, even though the Cardinals only rolled with 4 captains. I don't have an issue with the players they took, but I mean, he's the captain of the O-line. So to me, it's like, this is a guy that if we talk about who on this team at the end of the year has an opportunity not only to rise and become faces of this team, but a marquee name in the NFL landscape, it's Paris Johnson Jr. I think we're going to be talking about him in the same realm as maybe not Penei Sewell, but in that next category of tackle in the NFL. Sound, he's a tremendous pass protector. And for a team that's going to throw the ball, I would assume a decent amount with the weapons the Cardinals have. Like Paris Johnson Jr., health permitting, is going to be the best left tackle this franchise has had since Lomas Brown. He's got every opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's more geared up in the run game, and they went during his availability. We talked to him, and they're locked in and ready to pick up where they left off as far as the kind of being a bully in that part of their game, like in clearing out space for James Conner. And I think that's only going to help them as a in pass pro. But they're ready to run the football, and like to go into Buffalo, it's very similar to going into Pittsburgh last year. Kind of lunch pail mentality, hard nosed mentality. And I think that this team's starting to take on that, just that feel, right? That's what they're going to do. And then once you get that defense to sneak up a little bit on you and try to slow down the run, then that's where that arm talent and these big play receivers come into play.
Not to pivot off the offense, but just in general, I mean, do you feel like, outside of Darius Robinson, B.J. Ojulari's injury, this is the healthiest this team is going to look this year? I mean, the injury report came out today, and it's got a couple nicks for some rookies. But outside of that, I mean, Cardinals, especially offensively, they're in good shape health-wise.
Yeah, we saw the return of Tip Ryman on Monday, and then he was back in a limited capacity today dealing with an ankle injury. It was undisclosed before. But then Xavier Weaver just has the oblique, and, it's a great story. Xavier Weaver, undrafted rookie free agent out of Colorado, earns a spot over a draft pick in Tayshaun Palmer. But like realistically, where were we going to see Weaver in the game plan come Sunday? So it's not like a huge loss. You just
could have been inactive potentially.
Could have been inactive, absolutely. So yeah, they're about as healthy as you could possibly get. And then like the closest you could get to seeing Darius come back, and then just add on top of that, like I'm sure you'll have some injuries in between now and the end of September, which would be the earliest he can come back off of IR.
Still no Hassan Reddick for the New York Jets. Just throwing that out there. I also want to throw out some bets with my co-hosts here on PHNX Cardinals. But before we do that, I'm going to tell you what ticketing app you should bet on for major savings. It's our friends at Game Time. Premier ticketing app, the only one that I use, frankly, since we've started this relationship, since I got introduced. And I'm like, oh, what's this? I've only used other ticketing apps that charge egregious fees that every time I bought tickets off of, I felt dirty inside. Now it's like, this is just part of my routine, using the bonus code PHNX for $20 off Premier. Again, not just for pro football tickets, collegiate tickets, entertainment, comedy shows, and more. How about parking passes? How about, festivals? Everything and anything is available. You got to download the Game Time app today, create an account, use the bonus code PHNX, $20 off. I love the interface. I love looking at it on like a website browser on your computer. You can see everything. It's crystal clear. Terms and conditions apply. Again, redeem it. PHNX is the bonus code, $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. And if you're in the Buffalo area, hook you up with $20 off and go support the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, or if it's week 2, week 3, week 4, which the Cardinals are back in front of the Red Sea, home games against the Lions, the Commanders, the Rams. Why not go save some money? Also, why not roll up in a brand new car from Sanderson Ford? We love Sanderson Ford. They got their playoff payoff sale. Snakes continue to be the hottest team in baseball. Why not check them out in person because they've got their playoff payoff sale going on. No hassle, no pressure, no nonsense. But of course, that's just how they do business. That's their sales approach there at Sanderson Ford. Check out 65 acres of their dealerships, the largest Ford dealership in the nation, and check out their great vehicles like they have, like the Ford F-150 XLT. I test drove it. I loved every second of it. They had to like pry the keys out of my hand at the end of this test drive. Check out, the Ford Escape, whatever it may be, whatever Ford you're interested in. Just go give them a look right now. They got finance offers up to 36 months, OAC, Ford Motor Credit, up to $3,400 in rebates for the F-150 XLT. Get 0% for 36 months, OAC and Ford Credit. See dealer for details. Sanderson Ford.
It's our newest segment here on a PHNX Cardinals Wednesday. It is Hold or Fold. The line is myself, Brack, Damon, Dawg. Look ahead to this Sunday's NFL action outside of our precious Redbirds. What are some of our favorite nuggets with our friends at Bet365? And do our cohorts, do we agree? Do we hold it as a collective group, or are we folding it, Brack?
Yeah, is this are we doing a parlay here? Are we taking all three of our picks?
No, it's just I put them on the same graphic.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, before we get into these, some of us stand for things here. We have integrity. And then and you have some talking points and things you believe in throughout the off season. And then there's my co-host, and he's just immediately going to probably gross most of you out with his choice here, the hold or fold. And even before you see it, you'll probably know which way I'm going to go as far as Johnny's pick.
How dare you? Number one, week one, there are always upsets. There are probably people out there that are saying that about our precious Arizona Cardinals upsetting the Buffalo Bills. But I feel very confident in my pick. I'm even putting a small wager on it with our friends at Bet365. Without further ado, it's hold or fold week one with your boys of PHNX Cardinals, Damon, Dawg. Let's see it. Here are three favorite lines of the week. And let's start with you, Brack. -3, the Atlanta Falcons at -120. Ooh, huge risk there. Ooh, I love the risk that you're taking. Atlanta Falcons. Oh, man. Really a sharp bet there by Brack. Atlanta Falcons, who they playing this weekend? Some Division II school?
I mean, the Division II school of the AFC North, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, Russell Wilson's corpse. Awesome.
Wow. Way to rally the troops into being sarcastic and saying I went on a limb, Ozzy. Bees likes our picks. I like my pick a lot. Look, I know it's a bit chalky, but look, I think the Falcons now with a good direction offensively, decent quarterback play, the weapons that they have, I like them to cover -3 easily. It's just going to be one of those bets that you look back on and say, oh, there's free money right there. And that's what I wanted to hold the line with.
Damon, are we holding or are we folding Brack Falcons -3? Is it hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend?
It is. The Atlanta Falcons are at home hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I do like it, Bo. I think that's a good pick. I don't think the Steelers are going to be good this year. I believe I said on this program that Mike Tomlin will lose his streak of being above 500 this season. And I think I'm holding that line. And I don't, when did hitting -120 bets become? When did that become not taking a risk?
Hey, look,
I must have missed that part of sports gambling. If you could hit that every time, I mean, you'd be a rich man.
If hitting bets like that is wrong, frankly, I don't want to be right.
Wow. Here's what I'll say. Mike Tomlin as a road dog in an opener, give me that. So I'm folding, Brack, your line week one -3. Russell Wilson, Mike Tomlin, the revenge game against everybody, the naysayers.
Revenge?
Everybody. They're taking everybody to the woodshed this weekend. It's not viable over 17 weeks. The Atlanta Falcons are the darlings of the offseason. I think they have a big stinker Raheem Morris versus Mike Tomlin. Give me Mike Tomlin and give me the Pittsburgh Steelers at +3.
Time for me to explain my pick?
Yeah, I
or-
like your pick. I'll already tell you I'm going to hold this pick. I really like this one. But
Yeah,
Johnny probably hates it because it's -115 and he wants better odds than that.
I was looking at the lines, and it was tough for me. I was looking at this specific game, Sam Darnold versus Daniel Jones. Sam Darnold actually -120 to throw an interception. And I couldn't decide between who in this stink fest I thought would, had a better chance of throwing a pick. Ultimately decided to go with the slightly better odds in Daniel Jones, taking him over a half interception there because he's horrible.
Fact.
I'm holding. I think that's an easy layup. Damon, I commend you for that. I am not trashing. I think here's why I like that. Because I think that could hit first possession. I think that could hit first quarter. I feel like a lot's got to go right for Bo to cover 3 points with Atlanta with Raheem Morris. But Daniel Jones, that's about as easy money as you can get. And I love those odds, frankly. I'd love to boost those odds with our friends at Bet365. But without further ado.
Let's burn some money.
Yeah, I'm not even going to complain that my name is spelled wrong on this graphic. Jahani here. I'm doing my best Johan Dotson impersonation, I guess. That doesn't matter because it's not going to be tainted because my pick is going to cash for everybody. The Denver Broncos are going to go into Seattle and beat the Seattle Seahawks this year, who I'm predicting are huge frauds in the year of our football Lord 2024. Old Mike McDonald had a farm and it was a losing season in year one. Life comes at you fast, Seahawk fans. You ran Pete Carroll out of town. Now you got this unknown commodity paired with Geno Smith. As much as we dog on Sean Payton, and I think he's semi-fraudulent, he's a big-time offensive coach. Bo Nix played a ton of college football. Where did he play it? In the Pac Northwest. He's gonna feel at home in Seattle. Bo Nix is going to do
never beat Washington.
Bo Nix is going to. He put up points. His defense was trash. Bo Nix is going to be
just folded when it mattered.
Bo Nix, Sean Payton go into Seattle. Seattle, this is the end. Your tenure of being relevant is eroding.
Bo Nix lost to Washington twice last year.
He didn't have Sean Payton.
Has he ever won in the state of Washington? Honest question.
I don't know.
He's going to go up there and Sean Payton, who's been a bum without elite prime Drew Brees, and you're going to talk all this trash, and then you're just going to guzzle this Denver Broncos orange Kool-Aid.
I'm sorry, I'm not handing out -500 bets for everybody. I'm trying to make some people some money. Give me Sean Payton over whomever is coaching Seattle. I have the coaching advantage. And I'm sorry, like Bo Nix, comfort level, this is where he played college football. He played it in the Pac Northwest. So I think Geno Smith.
He lived there for like 2 years, dude. He's from Alabama.
Geno Smith is a big time bum. He's going to be exposed even by Vance Joseph. I like this pick a lot.
Outside of Patrick Surtain, who did the Broncos even have on their team?
Jonah Ellis, who the Cardinals could have drafted.
Jonah Ellis, you're going to tell me a third or fourth round pick out of Utah? Do you know where he played football? He played in the Pac-12. Do you know what that's close to? The Pacific Northwest. Oh man, I am so sold on that. First year, day 2.
Yeah, I'm going to make you eat so much crow next week. Give me Bo Nix and Sean Payton over Mike McDonald and Geno Smith. Mike McDonald and Geno Smith? You're acting like this is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. No,
that's what you think. You think Sean Payton and Bo Nix are Sean Payton and Drew Brees?
I don't think they're going to be viable in the AFC West long term. I'll preface this by this is the perfect scenario where you've got Bo Nix feeling good about himself. He's played a ton of college football.
A first team defense in the NFL yet.
I'm sorry. This has more to do with I don't buy Seattle, and I think that you will get a competent performance from Bo Nix and a very nice offensive performance, Sean Payton, in week 1. I think they are going to manufacture points. Don't let your jealousy of DMVR, if they win this weekend and the Cardinals take the L, blind you from the fact that I think the Seahawks are frauds this year, and I like this matchup for Denver. I don't think that they're going to be viable long term. I'm trying to make money where there's money to be made with our friends at Bet365. Plus 220. Lay a 20 spot on that. Take your wife out to a steak dinner. Take your spouse out on Johnny and Bet365 because this is hitting. Broncos are winning week 1.
I would want to hold Johnny's line here, but I just plus 200. I can't get in on that.
Plus 220.
It's not sweet enough odds.
It needs to be plus 300.
Yeah.
No, where are you getting? The Cardinals game isn't that. You're not
Plus
getting that.
205.
All right. Well, earlier it was plus 220 when I initially saw it, but it's other places, it's jumping all over the place. You may want to wait until Sunday to lay this line.
This is a phenomenal graphic, by the way, and the disrespect misspelling Johnny's name. I like it. I love it even more.
I'm actually new to this show. Hello, my name's Johnny. Honey. We're going to keep track of these odds. Here's what I'm going to love. I'm going to love going 1-0 against you frauds with the only person with the stones to take a plus money line with a rookie QB.
Hey, if you want to make this hold or fold the line where we have to take plus money bets, then let's do it.
I'm going to take minus 120 to take a home team against a road team. Okay.
Johnny's odd shaming right now.
Yeah, he is.
It's kind of sad. I didn't think we did that here.
Sorry for
I was the OG host of PHNX Bets Daily. A lot of people forget that. I was the OG host. I was on the initial episode, and I had over 60+% of my bets hit year 1. Ask Shane Diefenbach.
I'll have to talk to one of the 5 people that
pull the tape. Pull the tape.
Hold 5 people that were around watching that iteration of bets.
Are you holding or folding with Bo, Damon, on your first line there?
I'm going to hold with Bo.
So we're split on line 1. We are 100% with Damon on line 2, and I am 1 versus 2 with my bet, which that's fine. Back against the wall. Underdog mentality. I live for it. I live for it.
Yeah. Hold or fold the line. Thanks to our friends over at Bet365. Make sure you use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. It's elite. So
quickly becoming my favorite segment we do. Quickly.
That was great. That was really contentious. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be like that all year long. And by the way,
is Johnny, like 3 weeks down the road, is Johnny going to be mad at me for just picking winners? And it was all right there.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs at home minus 300 against Carolina. I really like these odds with our friends at Bet365. I'm Bo Brack.
He's doing the double chocolate chip cookie voice right now.
The Costco guy. I'm not.
Don't AJ me.
I really like these extended odds where you can get Josh Allen to have 1 total touchdown this weekend with our friends at Bet365. Boost it to minus 800. I'm Bo Brack.
Well, Bo, you see, the good thing about this where you say, is Johnny going to keep making fun of you down the road? Well, we're going to have a tracker, and it's going to tell us how many units all 3 of us are up the entire, season.
I can't wait to just pay
off. He'll try to poke holes in my. And when
I can't wait to pay off people's mortgages on this show.
1 and 2, and he's like, "Well, you're going with the easy ones," but I was able to figure out how to win. Pick winners. That's the name of the game. It's not, hey, I like these odds. Let's just light a 20 on fire. Go throw it on LFB. Bo leave Knicks. I was seeing throwing ground balls at the Senior Bowl. I mean, it's just go ahead, just buy into the hype.
I'm not. I think you can do smoke and mirrors week 1
that you want to. You want to be.
I watched Kevin Cobb start an NFL season 4-0. You can do smoke and mirrors, and I think that's what you're going to get. You can get just enough out of old Bo Nix and Sean Payton. Book it. Hold the line. Hit that like button. And become a diehard. Go PHNX.com, where you can yell at myself and Bo Brack and everybody in the PHNX Cardinals member Discord. Shop the number 18 collection today. I think I had somebody else send me an MHJ jersey that was available in the U size. I apologize. I think it might have been Ozzy saying it was available, but it's not really available. The only thing that's truly available is to shop the number 18 collection at gophnx.com, the PHNX merchandise locker. Become a diehard. Pick up one of our many shirts for free. 20% off all future orders. And again, stock up this year. And PHNX merch, Bo Brack, by the way, is catching the eye of not just the fine people that host this podcast, but a certain Arizona Cardinal head coach.
Yeah, it certainly is. Somebody with refined taste in style.
Mm.
Jonathan Gannon is a big fan of what Arizona Cardinals or what PHNX Sports is doing. He was talking about maybe his options as far as sideline gear, and he said, I got to get myself a PHNX hat today. So
Why don't we have that clip? Yeah, that clip. That guy is that in the vault? Can we not have that clip?
yeah, we can have that. We can have it. We'll get it going.
We'll get that clip. We'll get that
Yeah.
clip. We need some likes though. We need 300 likes here on a football Wednesday. Because again, what do we got on deck later this week? Banner Friday show, preview show. Craig Morgan's going to join us, and then it's game time. It's time to buckle up with your precious PHNX Cardinals hosts.
We're going to be no show tomorrow, correct? So I'll be out at the facility along with Craig Morgan, and we'll get to talk to some Buda Baker. We'll get the sights and sounds from practice as you're used to seeing. PHNX_Cardinals on Twitter, at Bo Brock on Twitter as well. Updates for you, get you to Friday, and then Friday the big old preview show, as Johnny mentioned. We'll be talking to Craig. Craig's going to hit the road to Rough Buff. He's going to link up with a familiar face in name. Sean DePaz is going to do some work for us out there, get you even more content than you've ever seen from a Cardinals road game ever in the history of this team goes, Johnny. I don't think that's hyperbole.
I'll tell you what's not hyperbole, these super chats that we need to get to here. I'd love to get to these. Trevor, $1.99. Sunday will turn out like the Titans game 1 of 2021. Fingers crossed. I would love that. I would just take a dub, but you know, I feel like there could be some similarities outside of it's not Ryan Tannehill, it's Josh Allen. But I do think this Buffalo team, like top to bottom, I think they have average personnel. I think they've got a great quarterback, a solid to good head coach, and an average team, top to bottom.
I mean, we'll get more into it, but don't you think if you can force them into being one-dimensional and Josh Allen really having to take the game over, win it with his arm, that would bode well. Like take James Cook out of it, take Josh Allen's legs out of it, and then make him try to make plays with his new receiving core. I think that would be a big key to victory. How about our guy? Is it Daniel Barnett? $5. Thank you, Daniel. Now that we almost are at the season, want to say thanks to y'all for the hard work this offseason. Best cards program out there. Hashtag a storm is coming, Mr. Wayne.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Love that reference. You don't deserve to use it. Thank you, Daniel. We appreciate you, my friend. And Bo and I have been doing this show together for 2 years. We got 8 wins in 2 years. We're due for some good luck on a football Sunday, and it starts this weekend. David, $5, friend of the program. Remember back when Jobo didn't think MHJ was going to score any touchdowns for the Cards? Pepperidge Farm remembers we're beating Buffalo week 1. Is that because we thought that they were going to trade the pick?
David, I specifically remember that. I remember Johnny and Bo were saying it would be an affront to football, to building a football roster, drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. 4th overall instead of trading down and accumulating assets. God. I will remember that. The rest of the line remembers that, and we'll never forget it.
Damon, you've been fired from the show. I need you off.
Look, the only way Damon keeps his job, honestly, like, is if we hit 300 likes. Otherwise, he is.
Jesus.
Well, no, I mean that we needed the likes anyway, and now that he's put us on blast, I think the only way he comes back is 300 likes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll allow it. Baharo 3, $2 super chat. Offense carrying depends on Michael Wilson, Dortch not being threes. Well, I think Michael Wilson is a 2. I think he showed you last year he's a 2. He performed like a 2, if not a 1 on some Sundays with Josh Dobbs and just a big bowl of, nothing burger at quarterback certain Sundays. Then Kyler came back and he was putting up almost 100 yards in the finale. And then we know what Dortch does when he gets targets. So I'm not worried about that. Plus, like, you have a top 3 to 5 tight end in the NFL. They got weapons. We don't need to argue about weapons on this show. Can any of the weapons play pass rusher? There's an argument.
Yeah. Was it 15 or 16 drives in the season last year? They avoided 3 and outs. Like they're going to be able to sustain drives. They were able to do it without the personnel that they have going into this year. They're going to be in a good spot. So Kyler Plummer, $5 with the super chat. I think Bo is interviewing for NFL Network at this point.
I think he's saying with that pick.
Oh, with that pick
was so vanilla and just bland, nobody will take, leaps with their picks in the NFL Network. I'm assuming that's what he means.
Okay. All right.
So I think we could challenge Bo, especially if his pick misses this weekend and my pick hits.
You're just trying to bait me out of my comfort zone, and you're just trying to get me to make some, wild picks.
You are safe, Bo.
I'm a man of the people. I want them to win money. I don't want to just create this fairy tale dream sequence where, hey, if this hits, all your, wildest dreams come true. No, I want to legitimately win people money, and you're leading them down the wrong path.
I legitimately think that your bet could be one of the most faded bets this weekend by sharps in Vegas. I have a feeling a lot of people hate that. John Castro, $4.99. Great betting segment. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. We're a couple nasty boys here, and we're gonna bet hard with Bet365, win or lose. So if you're into betting content, you've come to the right place.
Yeah.
And we give out bets, Cardinals specific bets on our pregame show every football Sunday. So there'll be some Cardinal adjacent bets, but we like to get sloppy and dirty here on Wednesday with some bad.
I like that. You'll notice throughout the season last year, Johnny, you'd have to fact check him, but he said he hit about 60% of his bets.
He said that he would say that all season long, and there was just no chance it was true. I think we're hitting at about 60%, which is professional gambling level.
We give out 3 bets, and I would easily
know for a fact he got shut out the previous week. He's like, we're hitting and we're operating about 60% here.
First touchdowns count for twice. That's my rule. If you get a first touchdown, it doubles it. Like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. It's game.
Do we want to see what a man of great taste and style is all about?
We got it. Let's see it.
Cardinals
We got it.
Head coach Jonathan Gannon. Here he is.
And the white hat, yeah. I just got it. Hats don't fit me well. I don't know, for whatever reason. I need a PHNX, yeah.
Can we get the head coach some merch? Can we make that happen?
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are. If I just put one up there on the podium,
I think we bring one to a presser, and by we I mean you, and you just do this to him. And you go, here you go, coach.
Get out of here. There's the exit.
Your credentials been revoked.
No gifts here.
Leave.
Yeah.
This is a fun time of year. Optimism abound. This team is, I think, being slept on. I know being slept on nationally, and this podcast is here for it. And we're here for all of you. So we appreciate all of you with all seriousness. It's been a fun off season. We put that to bed. The NFL season starts tomorrow. Enjoy Thursday night football. There's Friday football as well from Brazil. I think what is it? Packers, Eagles? Is that what's going down?
That's on Friday. Tomorrow is Chiefs, Ravens.
Yeah. And of course, Cardinals kick things off Sunday morning. We've got full coverage. Again, Craig Morgan's got content coming out. We've got supplemental content coming out here on the YouTube page. We got some special things in the works. And man, oh man, wait till you see the lineup this podcast trots out next week. But in the meantime, like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Despite their bets today, follow Brack, follow Damon, Dawg, wherever you get your respected content. And then, of course, follow me. I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you on Friday.
We all silly like the mayor.